We live. Yes, sir. It's an exciting day for me, at least, man. I'm very grateful for the person that I have here with us. The first thing I want to do before I get to that person, I'm gonna build up a little bit of suspense. You know what I'm saying? Leon, how you feeling?
I'm all good. Man, I'm enjoying life, man. Did a half marathon a weekend ago.
How'd
Okay.
that go? Oh yeah, I saw you got a medal for that, right?
Yeah. The DC Rock, I think that's what I
Man,
don't know,
you was
DC's a rock and
flexing a
roll,
little
something like
bit.
that.
Flexing a little bit with the chain on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I'm not to the point where I could. Well, maybe I could. I'm not to the point where I have run a marathon yet. Let me say that. Maybe I could. Maybe I could. You know, I got asthma, but I'm an athlete. To be honest, like I played a hell of sports. Hockey was the one I was probably the best at. Started with roller hockey. Not that anybody asked, but started with roller hockey. Then got on the ice. I've been itching to get back to rollerblading. You skate?
No.
You don't skate?
No.
Dang. Okay. Well, I done brought you in the conversation now. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Like I said, it's an exciting day. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but I do want to say first, on record, I already said it off record, but on record, I'm very grateful that you chose to come here. I'm
Thank
grateful
you.
for all my guests, but I am very grateful that you chose to come here because obviously I have a platform, but it's not like it's needed for anybody to show up for me and all that. So I do take it personally, and I'm grateful. So yeah, go ahead and if you don't mind introducing yourself so the people know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, I gotta love it. My name is Terrance Diggs, or also D17Terrance. I'm a creative entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And my new thing, I'm a big vitamin D kid. I've been getting outside now that the weather's kind of broke, and
Yeah.
I make clothes and I make sportswear. I make lifestyle. I make
Yeah.
mugs. I make hats. I
You make
make
mugs?
Yeah,
Bro, my
I got
girl's addicted to
little home
mugs.
good stuff I tried to get.
Okay.
So, I make whatever my mind comes to and using sports to create opportunity in the DMV and hopefully across the nation and then taking it from there.
A
So,
true creative. A
yeah.
true creative who can
Yeah.
create. You don't just make the thing. You know what I'm saying? You're an actual
Yeah.
creator in your essence, is what I'm hearing you say, is what it sounds like. So, let me not make the same mistake by not doing my intro. Welcome to the Tried and True podcast, where I get to keep it a buck and all pennies with y'all, my viewers and my listeners. Obviously, as you heard, we got D17Terrance in the building, and I think this is going to be a very fun and cool conversation. I have a lot of things that I actually want to know, so I
Yeah.
finally get to ask my questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like the way that you described your creativity. I'm a creative myself, and I've been thinking about that lately.
Mm.
This isn't even. I didn't write this down. I don't have like a question pertaining to this yet,
Yeah.
but you got my gears turning a little bit. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like,
Mm.
I don't know what to call myself other than to just say I'm a creator. And I'm not like a content creator.
Yeah.
I'm really like a thought leader and somewhat of a philosopher. But I create so much,
Yeah.
and it's hard to put a label on that. Imagine a person asking you what you do, and you got to give them like the short elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the worst.
that's tough.
It's too many. It's like you don't want to put yourself in the wrong box, but you
Hmm.
don't want to put yourself in like too many boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've done a couple songs here and there. I might have wrote stuff here and there,
Hmm.
but I'm not like a musician. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can find ways to use it to express myself,
Hmm.
but it's not like my main focus. But I could jump in the DAW and like record, mix it myself,
Hmm.
whatever and stuff like that. So
Have you've made music?
I got a couple,
Okay.
SoundCloud, yes, I did a verse from my homie down in Texas, my homie Dev with Balasia.
Okay.
He had some songs he was playing. He had a little like 8 bar ending, and people just like let the instrumental ride.
Right.
I was like, yo, just give me like 8 bars. I could do something with this. And,
Okay.
it's kind of like me getting back into it. My goal is to release some stuff like before the end of the year.
Oh man,
Just like just to put it out there. Like you never know what could happen with it.
we're gonna have to talk about that off the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. I fool around with the. I get busy when it comes to the music. The recording studio in here. I came and
Uh,
I recently recorded my what's about to be my next mixtape.
okay.
That's gonna come out shortly. You know what? I'm gonna send it to you.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
send it to you. Let me send it to you. Um, we talked about how you make clothing, so I'm gonna get back to the clothing. I don't necessarily know. You said that. Now I would call it athletic wear.
Mm,
Is that accurate?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. What? Why? Now, what made you get up and say, not only am I gonna make clothes, but I'm gonna gear it toward athletics?
So, like, same thing as you, I grew up playing every sport under the sun as a
Mm,
kid. Like, I played ball, I played golf, I played lacrosse, I ran track, I played tennis,
I love
stuff like
tennis.
that. I wasn't the best at it, but like,
Yeah.
it was a good change. Like my parents are like, we got to keep them outside, stuff like
Mm,
that. And when I first started the brand, like before, like in my undergrad when I was at Towson, it was like, I was doing stuff for like my friend Kasim. He was rapping at the time. It was a whole bunch of guys coming up, recreation. It was very, very young Logic
mm-hmm.
down in College Park. Like we was riding up and down, taking the train from Baltimore to DC to try to go to Philly, to try to go to South by Southwest. Like
Mm-hmm.
we were just doing that. And when I started getting more into like, okay, I want to make shirts and stuff. Like I made a quick, maybe like 30 shirt run. And then I tell her this all the time, but it keeps coming up. One of my friends, she wore one of my shirts to the gym. And she was like, "Oh, this is such a great like workout t-shirt." And it kind of taught me when building a brand, like a lot of the founder's story is ingrained in it. So more people associated me with being an athlete than it was like the creative side.
Mm-hmm.
And I always was trying to like find a way to mesh the two worlds. And it wasn't really done before. For me, my pinnacle moment was when J.R. Smith wore the Supreme armband when he was on the Cavs, and it like set shit off.
Yeah.
Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay. It like set it off, and I was like, this is the kind of duality that I'm seeing. Like these brands are already working with athletic brands like Supreme and Nike, Palace, Stussy, like they were
Mm-hmm.
already doing that, but a way that kind of tailored to that athlete that they grew up liking sneakers, like they grew up trying to get J's in line or on finish line, before they go to school in the morning.
Yeah.
They were wearing outdoor gear like the helis with skinny jeans and a pair of 11s on. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was my streetwear, but my streetwear was also like making the team and getting the team jacket and
Right.
wearing that joint when you got out and went to the mall and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like you felt like you was him when you
Yeah.
earned that
That
jacket.
Letterman jacket.
Yeah, Letterman, the team jacket, whatever. And people kind of, it was a fashion statement, but it also was like a cultural statement because it was like, this is what it's like, being an athlete. This is the lifestyle I'm living. I remember trying to get a pair of foams to match with my lacrosse jacket. I remember me and my boy getting finessed out of a pair of Bred 11s,
Oh.
trying to get them before the game, like let's all wear them before the game when JV plays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just wanted to build around that kind of nostalgia. And now I'm at the point where I need to use the brand to help youth athletes,
Mm.
being able to help, female athletes, being able to help, anybody that is trying to get into sports and trying to maintain to stay in sports. 'Cause
Mm.
I played, like I said, golf, hockey, lacrosse. Those are very rich, very privileged sports to play.
Right.
And not everybody kind of gets that chance. And I didn't get that chance until I was a junior in high school to play
Mm.
lacrosse. I ended up
Yeah.
playing, my parents bought me all the stuff, and I ended up getting college looks. Imagine if I played at 12 or
Right.
10, or imagine if I was golfing
That makes a
before.
huge difference. A
Yeah,
world of a difference.
yeah. So I kind of want to be able to open that gate, and we've been doing it mostly in the running space now.
Mm-hmm.
We've done 2 full collections. We've worked with a couple of run clubs across the country, and now we're trying to kind of elevate that running experience for people that they're former athletes, they're athletes at some point, and they're looking for that kind of stability again
Mm.
and like competition. So we've been doing that. We got 186 members now, trying to get it
Members of
of the run club.
Run Club.
So that's like our biggest thing right now. But I'm trying to get back in the lifestyle because then
Yeah.
I went to performance for a minute,
Yeah.
and people are like, when can we just get like a basic walk around hoodie? So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do these. And then now I'm kind of been going back and forth, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been a journey.
Yeah.
I loved it to death.
I'm one of those people, like, I really love athletic wear. There's a brand, I'm not gonna name them because they're not paying me, but
Mm.
there's a brand that they make clothes, and the clothes look amazing. Like, they look incredible. So
Yeah.
I wear it wherever. I wear it to
Mm.
work. I wear it to walk around at the mall. I wear it wherever, and I wear it to the gym
Yeah.
because of the materials. And what I've noticed about the things that I got from you, I got a couple items from you when we met,
Mm.
and I noticed the quality. Now I'm gonna get to the quality later,
All right.
but we just because you mentioned tailoring your items towards certain things, and then people saying, "When can I get a walk around?"
Mm.
My thing about it is with the quality of product. Like, I'm wearing one of the shirts. Like, this
Yeah.
is a shirt that I got from you,
That was a good one too.
and it stood the test of time. I got this years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I mean, this is about, it's still popping. Like, the orange is still popping. The material is not flimsy. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. But it's perfect to be able to walk around. And a lot of people, there's a group of us, like a large group of us, who will walk around in the athletic gear. It's like it's like you said, it's like a cultural statement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes beyond athletics, but there's the story of the founder in the gear.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you said that. Why D17?
So it's the first letter of my last name, and it was a number that I played sports when I was in high school.
Okay.
So I used to do like other design stuff, and I had a whole like design studio, and it had a whole long ass name that I'm not saying because I retired it.
Okay.
But the name, when people would approach me, right, the name was so long at the time, I couldn't get the at for it, like on Instagram and stuff like that. So it was shortened to just D17, like designs or production
Okay,
and
yeah.
stuff. And anytime that was doing my freelance stuff, like logos, cover art, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people would approach me all the time. They say, "Oh, how's D17?" I'm like, "Well, technically that's the design agency. That's not the clothing part." So I
Right.
was like, it just kind of kept sticking with me, and it kept sticking and sticking and sticking. And I was like, maybe I should just switch it to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously having myself, is cool with the letter. It
Right.
doesn't like mean nothing. It's just the letter.
Yeah.
But the 17, like I said, that was a number I played sports in when I played lacrosse. My favorite athlete at the time, I met him. Shout out to him, Baltimore native, Johns Hopkins alumni, Kyle Harrison.
Okay.
He played midfield at Johns Hopkins, won the Tewaaraton, which is like the Heisman of lacrosse. He won a national championship. And when I was trying to research the game, I couldn't find any black players.
Mm.
He was like swaggy, he
Mm-hmm.
crossing motherfuckers up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like playing basketball out there, and he was so inspiring to me. And I remember I was like, I want to play just like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And his was K18. So
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's kind of like the duality of it. And I remember I went to tryouts. I was skinny and small. I'm like, I'm about to play this contact sport.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, rest in peace, my coach. They'd be like, all right, seniors, get your number. They pick their numbers. They take it 1, 3, 5, 11, 10. I'm like, damn, it's gonna blow. And I remember the second round, because at the time I was a junior, but I wasn't a returner.
Mm.
So I got like the bottom crop of
Right.
numbers. And our goalie at the time, it was like a couple of numbers, and he took 18. I wanted 18.
You wanted
so bad.
18.
It was 18, 21, or 22. And they were gone. Then I remember they were like, all right, Diggs, get your goddamn number. I don't know what you're gonna get. It's either 17, 43, or 59. And I was like,
Whoa.
I'm telling you, like high school, the bigger the number, the bigger the jersey.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I can't wear this defensive lineman 59.
Yeah.
40, it's okay. And I was like, I don't know, this 17 is like speaking to me.
Mm.
And I just took it. And then it's the crazy part, when we did a collaboration with the now Chesapeake Bay Sox, we did a logo where the 17 looks like a D. So it kind of like lined up perfectly. I don't know how I can make
Yeah.
a K, whatever, but it fit perfectly. And then people are like, oh, I love the name. It's like, it's able to be molded into something at any time. Like I tell people, when I started to run stuff, it didn't seem weird.
Yeah.
When I tried to do pickleball stuff, it didn't seem weird. I might do an art piece one of these days
Right.
and throw the logo on it, or like, I don't know, I might start doing Pilates or something,
Yeah.
like, and it kind of has fit in so many communities and people have been so receptive of it.
Right.
I was like, I gotta just keep this name, and we did the business for it, and
The name, you mentioned the name. You gave us some of the culture and some of the character behind the name, which I appreciate. I've been wondering that. I've been wondering if it was a play on D1 or anything like that.
nah,
I just been curious, really curious about that. I would have never been able to put together the actual story, but I've been trying to, kind of come up with something in my mind. So I'm really glad I got to talk to you about it.
yeah,
As far as the message is concerned,
mm,
as far as the values are concerned, if you had to answer the question, if you were required to answer the question,
mm,
um, what does your brand stand for?
gotta love it. It's on the back of the shirt. Athletics, design, community, create an opportunity through sport. Just
Mm,
using sport to. I didn't want to use art. I used design because that's like finding solutions.
yeah,
Um,
I love that. You have no idea.
yeah. So like for me, when I was like I said, when I was growing up in high school, it wasn't like everybody was an athlete at some. You played
Yeah,
JV volleyball, you did something else, you ran track for a year. It
yeah.
was having athletic friends or people that were in recreational sports. It wasn't new to me. So that taught me, how to socialize, how to create long lasting. A lot of these guys I played lacrosse with almost
Mm-hmm.
like 10 years ago, we going to weddings now, they buying homes,
Mm.
having kids,
That's real
it's
community.
I've known these people for years, and even people that I may have not known, like, oh, your dad used to coach me or something. Oh, we're at the age now, like, oh, you run now. Oh, I run too. Let's kind of, let's get together and get this work in and
Mm-hmm.
train for this or whatever. Come to the run club, come to some events or whatever, and it kind of just always has aligned. Like I saw one of my friends, we played golf together. I haven't seen him in years.
Mm.
Hugged him like we was still out there together.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, we getting old now. We can kind of have a little bit more fun when we go golfing. So to have those connections and the way that sport has provided me, I want to be able to do that for a lot of people. We've done that through soccer sponsorship, through kits. We've done that through Howard County Recreation and Parks. We sponsored
Mm.
Plandare Park to help kids lower the
I
cost of
was gonna
summer
ask you
camp.
that if you sponsor athletes, because you mentioned helping several times and
Yeah,
opportunity several times. So I was gonna ask you about sponsoring.
yeah, we're really big on soccer sponsorships. I love the game of football. Like
Mm.
we sponsor kits, we sponsor summer camps, we
Mm-hmm.
sponsored Howard County Recreation and Parks to help lower the cost of summer camp fees.
That's incredible.
Like yeah, and I'd love to get into the other sports. We sponsored a couple running events in
Mm-hmm.
Columbia and Baltimore. I plan to do a lot more in Baltimore. I plan to do a lot in DC, Northern Virginia, to really kill the entry to access to like running. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
get the shoes. They don't know it, we don't know what to do, where to go,
Yeah.
who to talk to. How can I kind of navigate people through that
Yeah. I was
and
gonna
make
ask
it
you, how do you
easier?
decide who gets sponsored?
I mean, sometimes they reach out to us. Sometimes we reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
It was one point we were getting so many inquiries. It's like, I can't help everybody, but we can make the right steps to, you know, making sure this group, oh, y'all need kits. Oh,
Yeah.
y'all need training bibs. Oh, y'all need shorts. Y'all need registration fee.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to just help a lot of clubs do that, and it's just so ingrained in me. Like
That's
what
incredible.
what can I do next? What bigger ways can we activate the health and wellness space
Yeah.
to take it to the next level? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at now.
That's what's up because I think a lot of I think a lot of brands that really want to experience more of the successes that they have in the beginning start to gear themselves so much toward the business side of things that they lose. um I don't think it's called like their own personal brand loyalty, like
Mm,
them being loyal to the actual brand. What makes the brand, sort of like the mission statement. They lose the
mm,
mission statement
yeah,
and they get so deep into the business end of it, which is necessary. I
yeah,
have some questions about that for you too, because somehow you've been able to stick to your mission and do good business along the way. You've
Yeah.
been able to choose both and not half step on either of them.
Yeah.
Which is that's a big deal to me, but it shows that it's a big deal to you, because if you wanted to, you could kind of let go on the mission statement a little bit and gear more toward the business. It might be more lucrative,
Yeah.
but you lose something. You lose soul, you lose culture, you lose connection.
Yeah.
You lose that core community.
Yeah.
I got some business questions for you. I wanted to ask you about what are some strategies that you use to make sure that you stay noticed in a market that's so saturated?
So I've kind of figured out a way to navigate that, because at first I thought it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, there's so many brands. With social media, you can see so many across the world.
Yeah.
Between you could live in Delaware and like a brand in Texas. You could
Yeah.
be in New York and love a brand in Florida.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten to the point where I don't know if this is just me being stubborn, but because there's so much noise, we've gotten to the point where it's like, let's just move where people want to hear us. You know what I mean? So it's like, instead of standing, with the crowd, let's just get to a different spot where people, if they want to listen to it, let's get them a space to where they can hear. So we try to develop that, not only with the Instagram, but like our digital communities. Obviously tools like Discord,
Right.
or like the email list, our Strava.
I'm big on email lists and Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah, very effective.
It's great to pull them there, because now it's like you're not so distracted by the brands on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Let's just bring them here and nurture that way, because I know exactly what y'all want and I can keep, providing it.
It's genius.
Yeah. And then as well, if it is a lot of noise, I'm a big collaboration guy.
Oh, me
Like,
too, bro.
if it's another,
Let me tell you.
to me, I think about it when I was in the car, man. If I got a call to make a unicycle,
Bruh.
I might do it,
Yeah.
and I'm getting on it. I'm gonna ride,
Right.
I'm a unicycle company, we want to do something to like teach, get people, they're cheap to get, anybody can do it.
Right.
I do it, I get a cool little like red and gold,
Yeah.
like I'll be on that motherfucker like I'm in the circus or something, I feel like collaboration is so big, and being able to work with your peers and understand that it's like we're people can buy 2 t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world, especially like where we are. Like, we did a collaboration with my friend Saba down in DC, with Rendered. She makes sustainable fashion and absolutely beautiful women's dresses, and we did a collaboration together on like socks. We just used
Incredible,
recycled
yeah.
material, did the dual branding, and she's been doing great stuff.
I got some socks from you too.
If it's
And
if it's
when
the black ones, then
I got some black ones, and then I got the little cream with the red.
yeah,
I got both of those.
yeah, both of them amazing.
Oh, bro,
But
what?
we've been
Yeah, those socks are incredible.
we've been
Some of the best socks I've ever bought.
yeah, and it takes so much time. Like, I'm a big data guy, so I like R&D and a lot of things. Understanding use cases. Is it somebody that's gonna wear this casually? Do they want to do crazy stuff in it? We did some stuff with an organization, Black Girls Hike. I wore the socks. I wore the cream socks out hiking, in the dirt. I'm like, get them muddy.
Yeah,
Do whatever you want. Like, tear it to the ground,
yeah,
and it'll stand with you.
Yeah.
So that's always been what I've prided, especially in the product side, is making sure all that's R&D. Let's get samples right. Let's get colorways cool, and then going from there. So,
that's a perfect segue. I was going to ask you about manufacturing and quality control, and I got to decide what I want to ask you, because I was also going to ask you about business lessons. But how do you decide what fabrics and materials to use? Because I'm struggling with that right now, with some things that I've been making, and the quality that you bring to the table. It's very particular. It's not as common, but it from an efficiency. Like, I mean, this shirt, I need to figure out how can I get this shirt.
and it's so like,
And the sweats, bruh.
oh yeah,
I got the green ones.
I
got
still
the green
get
joint.
people asking. They're like, "You
Oh.
gonna bring these? You gonna bring these
Oh.
back?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
I'll get them in every color. Well, I will get them in every color. If you bring them back and you make more colors, I'll get them in every color.
I think I need to at this point.
How do
Like,
you decide what fabrics, like what is that? Why did you care so much about getting this? Because I can assume this is not the cheapest. which means it may not be the most fiscally sound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, brand integrity.
Mm,
You know, there's a quality that you keep. There's a consistency. There's an expectation that can be created and
yeah.
upheld.
Yeah.
Why?
I think really just for me, like, and this, like, I think everything, especially with the brand or just like me as a creative, ties back for so long. Like, I remember going to, summer shopping with your parents, trying to
Mm-hmm.
get like, buying stuff two sizes big so you can keep it for longer. I
Yeah.
remember getting like double XL t-shirts at like
Yeah.
11. My parents would be like, you'll grow into it. It's
Yeah.
got, it'll stand the time,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I've always tried to make sure like it doesn't have to be the softest. It doesn't have to be the, you know, whatever. I just want to make sure that when I put a product out, one, it withstands the test of time. Two, it actually has a real world use case.
Mm.
You can throw it in the wash machine. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to get this special soap to do this. Man, you can go get a Tide Pod,
Right.
throw it in with your regular stuff.
Right.
I be throwing these hoodies through the ringer.
Yeah.
Like I be running in them. I be in the dirt in them. I
Mm-hmm.
just throw them in the wash machine and let them go. And this kind of comes from the DMV too. I love vintage designs and vintage clothing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love over time how like the way the fabric will break down. You could get something that's 25 years old and it could feel like it's brand new.
Yeah.
If it's taken, well corrected. And that took a lot of time understanding, different type of cotton types, different type of weaving types, like
Mm-hmm.
understanding like, when you get certain shirts, they say, oh, is it pre-shrunk or is it, true to size? Like,
Right.
yeah, the inside anatomy part, the cotton winds up. So when it heats up, it expands. But then when it dries, it shrinks back up.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how can we find a material that it's not already expanded? So like for those shirts, example,
Mm-hmm.
that's 100% cotton. The cotton's from North Carolina. It's screen printed in Los Angeles and sold here. So all domestic. We can kind of be able to talk with the cotton manufacturer and be like, hey, can we kind of feel it? You
Mm.
send over some swatches that we can kind of play with when it goes to the manufacturer. What type of dyes are we using? There's psoriasis, eczema, dry skin.
Right.
Are we working with dyes that aren't going to irritate, anyone's skin, or for people of color, like stuff like that? How can we switch to these different type of inks and things of that nature? Like we've been doing that, and that's kind of more or less on our sustainability side
Yeah.
that we've been implementing.
That's
Um,
another you hitting all the points, man. You hitting all the
so
points.
it's a lot. It's a lot, and like I'll keep it quick. Like on the running side, it's a lot of polyester and plastic that goes into a lot of stuff, and it's hard to find
Yes.
other ways to produce that. Like yes, there's been times we recycle polyester, but we've tried to stay away from it. If it's a use case, we might use it, but I try my best to try to bamboo or wood or merino wool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to go that route. Because sometimes that cotton ain't cheap.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
I could go make it here, where I could make it in the States, and I try to keep stuff domestically made.
Mm-hmm.
Just pushing a lot of like American made product
I was gonna ask you how important
companies.
that is to you, but you're answering it right here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
to me, it's important because being able to, one, I like having that communication.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I might as well just get it here. I don't need to pay tariffs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, so
Right.
I've been looking always in the States, um, and it kind of develops that kind of creation. Like, hey, we can say this is U.S. made, or if we were going to Great Britain, or
Mm-hmm.
England, I would find someone over there. Let's kind of make it locally, and it tells more of a story when we do our collaborators. Like, hey, if we're going to work with a brand, a company in DC, well, let's get a DC printer to do it.
Right.
Let's get a Colorado printer to do it with this art museum or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of bring back that local infrastructure. So that's just another way that I'm using sport to make opportunity, because it could be a print company that never had an order size of 400 hoodies.
Exactly.
Now they're like, oh,
Now they got it. They got the big fish,
yeah. And if
or their big fish.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if it works for me, I'm like, look, I'll call y'all in 6 months. Let's
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah.
They just waiting for me. So
That's huge. That is when it comes to the way that I do business and the people that I work with, that's one of the main things that I like to make sure that I'm building a relationship with a person
mm,
who could use the business,
yeah,
and it's less common for them, but how can I create an opportunity for them in exchange for their good or service?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And add more to them than just a dollar.
yeah,
Because the money that's fine. That's fine.
Mm,
But there's deeper levels of impact that go so much further beyond just the dollar.
yes,
You
and
know.
people, it's so many things. It's between the photographers. It might be somebody's first photography, gig.
Right.
I'm like, I'm happy to take a chance. We've worked with a couple college kids. They want to get into marketing. I'm like, I
Mm,
might not be able to pay you a lot, but I can bring you to all these events and all these people. You can, if you want to work on website stuff, please use it for your, portfolio or
yeah.
your grad school project or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to a kid from Columbia University, and he was trying to start a startup. And he's like, I'm trying to tailor it to small businesses, but I don't know any. I said, bro, get on my calendar. I don't care if it takes 45 minutes. I don't care if it takes 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you, because I wish I had more of that. Not saying that I didn't, but more of a direct line of like
Yeah.
information and game.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like, the money is cool, but it's not, as long as that website is up and I got that domain name,
Mm-hmm.
the brand will live on, you know.
That's
Like,
incredible.
I'm
Yeah.
not dying to get rich off it. If it happens, cool, but like, I want to eventually age off gracefully,
Yeah.
go be a professor somewhere. I'm old, I'm cool. I didn't hung out with Pharrell a couple times,
Right.
and I'm just telling people what it is. Like, the cutthroat of the game, it's a copycat league.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta stay like this and just keep going, because it's people looking at you that they're like, damn, he's really doing it.
Right.
I'll be looking at people like, damn, they really doing it.
Right.
And it's like, you can't worry about that,
Mm-hmm.
because it'll cloud your,
There's always a bigger fish.
yeah,
Always. It doesn't matter how big or how small you are. It does matter how you view yourself. Do you view yourself as an ant, in a room with a giant?
mm,
That is important. But it's as you're saying, like there's always a bigger fish. You don't want to let that cloud your ability to create
yeah,
and your willingness to put forward your best foot.
for sure.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you also, were there any key moments where you felt like I can feel the traction that is happening from my brand right now? Was there any moments in particular where you were like, dog, this is happening?
2021, when I was on Complex,
Ooh.
that was like, oh my goodness, I never had so much movement, and
Mm,
it was freaking me out. Like, it was during COVID,
mm,
and the host of the show is, shout out to Rax up in New York. He used to be like on the Complex videos, like
mm-hmm.
standing in line, like asking people about Supreme drops and
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
He ended up getting his own show on Instagram called The Mailroom,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a whole bunch of brands just like sending your boxes and stuff like that, and we can might feature it on the show. I made him a whole custom box. It was like curated exclusively for Racks. you know D17 is now on The Mailroom, and I signed it. And it's huge.
You're so intentional.
Yeah,
You
I
are
made it for
so
him.
intentional.
I made it for him, and he loved it. He flipped the box. He's like, I'm gonna keep this box and
Yeah.
stuff. And we did, the numbers was just like, it was just going up, and people DMing me from all over the world. I was like,
Man.
whoa, this is some crazy stuff. And even the relationships from that, I was like, and I debuted it, the running stuff,
Mm,
and it was a contest. It was like a fan contest, whatever. We won the fan vote. We didn't win the final. And I remember he was like, it might not get a lot of mass appeal because a lot of people ain't running. This was 2021
okay.
when I debuted the running stuff
Mm-hmm.
to a mass audience. And now it's crazy seeing like the running boom, and like
Right.
everyone's running now,
Everyone is running now.
which I love. I love it. But I'd be like, damn, I've been doing this for 4 years. I was like, I've been around, I'm like, I've been making these hoodies for like 5 years, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy kind of seeing now that, and I tell people, you're constantly writing a book. Some people are on page 20, some people are on page 50, some
Mm-hmm.
people on page 1, and some people have never picked the book up.
Mm,
So I'm trying my best to navigate those situations. And the complex one probably was my biggest one. That, and now that we're working with the pro sports teams, I've been loving that too.
yeah, we gotta get into that. We gotta get into that. I do want to ask you right before we get into that. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the early days? Let's say, including that boom that happened. I know there's been especially during COVID, there were brands that were starting to pop and they weren't able to fulfill all the orders.
Mhm.
And because of how popping they got and they weren't necessarily prepared, it
Yeah.
was, some of them met their downfall because of that.
Mhm.
And that's just an example of maybe what they would call some of their biggest hardship came from a moment that should have been, their finest hour.
Yeah.
But for you, what was maybe some of the hardest things that you had to face in those early days?
I think really just like getting the process correctly. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because there's so many other brands and like things you see on TV or like as a consumer. Like it's like going to, I don't know, a pizza place. You pull up, you see the pizzas, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
don't know that you got a motherfucker putting that, the dough together. He's spinning that motherfucker.
Right.
The sauce has this different steps. The pepperoni's got this steps. The cheese
Right.
got this steps. It's kind of like there's no guidebook on how to do it correctly. Like even what you said with the fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be one of those brands that says like, oh, he don't ship. Oh, I've been waiting 2 months for my order.
Yeah.
I see that and I'm like, how can we kind of change that? So what we did was I was like, okay, we're gonna go online, we're gonna get a software that can help track the orders correctly. It goes step by step, order confirm, order place, order ship, with the timeline of everything. So we kind of get that transparency. So even if we can't fulfill as fast sometimes, people at least have that information. They just want to know.
They just want to know.
They're just like, oh, where is it? But
Yeah.
a lot of them, they don't have a tracking, software, and ours is ingrained in our site. So
Mm-hmm.
you can just put your order number or your phone number and
Mm-hmm.
pull it up, where it's coming from, where it's going, and just kind of giving that. But another big thing was, you know, it's hard to get the softwares. Like I remember my laptop blew up on me.
Ooh wee.
I had like probably a
It legit
hundred.
blew up.
Yeah, not like legit, like,
Oh,
but like
I was like,
it broke.
bruh.
The hard drive died on me.
Oh
So I
man.
lost like 100 designs. I lost so much. I lost fonts. I lost brand kits. And I didn't back it all
I
up.
feel like we all have those moments too, like as creators. Like,
Doug, I'm still hurt. I
oh,
still can't touch. Like I still
those
can't.
scars, they don't go away.
Bruh, any new computer, I'm like, man, this ain't the same as my
Yeah.
2011 MacBook Air. Like
Right.
it be that thing. I ran that thing into the ground. But
Yeah.
like being like, I lost my computer.
Mm.
Like you trying to work because I was doing 9 to 5. Then I'm trying to do
Mm-hmm.
that, and then which was great. But then it's like I don't got enough time to do this. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, where do I sacrifice and where do you kind of pick it up? So now that I've kind of gotten that a little bit more under control, it alleviates those pains. But then
Mm-hmm.
now, the like being a business owner, people don't know you're gonna be in a pain every like 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Like my biggest pain now is the event planning. I'm not an event
Mm-hmm.
planner, so I had to go get an event planner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my running event. Okay, you got to get a photographer, you got to get waivers, you got to get sign up, you got to get
Mm-hmm.
email, you got to sell tickets, you got to work with a collaborator. You got to design it, get their approval, write this, do that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make the shirt,
Yeah.
and I still got to show up and do this. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're going to keep running into stuff.
Yeah.
The more that you can kind of learn it now, and I like to learn it. So when I bring somebody in, like on a contract or something, I can get exactly what I need.
Exactly.
So it's like, and nothing can go over my head either.
You said something very important right there, not to cut your wisdom. You said something very important. You said you like to learn it. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm willing to do so many things small first, or
Mm,
just whatever level I'm able to do them and get my own hands dirty
yeah,
so I can feel the soil and I can understand the process
yeah,
so that whether I'm doing it at a larger scale or I'm just working with somebody else on doing it at the same scale,
mm,
either way, I know the process. I could teach somebody the process now. I can give somebody the game that's going to need it. I
yeah,
know what I want and whether what I want is practical even
mm,
because I know the soil. I
yeah,
know what happens. You get it wet, it turns into mud. I
yeah,
know that you can dry that and make clay or like whatever. Like
yeah,
I understand that. I know the weight of it all. I know
mm-hmm,
the I know it. I
yeah,
know it.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it
So
goes.
I know what I'm asking for. I know how to actually get what I'm asking for. And in the event that I'm all on my own again on this island, like I was when I started, everything doesn't have to necessarily stop.
Yeah,
Everything doesn't have to stop. Even if I have to downsize the operation, the consumer doesn't necessarily have to feel all of that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's incredible. Even you just saying, I like to learn it.
yeah. I mean, there was a point where, especially with the brand, I don't think I had a new product for like 3 years, and
Mm,
nobody knew. I
mm,
was moving like I had a bunch of product,
mm-hmm,
but I didn't. I was still running off the same like.
Mm-hmm.
you know, 2 boxes of shirts and stuff. And I was like, even if I can just go pop up somewhere, just people to see it
Right.
is like enough for me. I was
That
like, I know,
visibility.
yeah, because then they're like, oh, he's going here. Oh, he didn't took it to Jacksonville. He didn't took
Mm-hmm.
it to Charlotte. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to New York. I was going to Philly just with a rack, just so you can see it. And I can
Yeah.
just talk to people, and then now when they go home, and you kind of like nurture them into it. Then when it comes to releasing stuff, they're like, oh, I met him at this place. Oh, I met him here. He was going here. He was at a plant shop. He was at
Right.
he
That's
was,
my story with you.
and that's how it
I met
was.
you at the pop up, bought some gear, and years later, here we are.
That's how it was, and that's how I love doing it, like being able to make those connections. And it's crazy how much a T-shirt can do that,
Yeah.
and just the more I can make and the more that I can connect with
Mm-hmm.
is just where I'm at. So
I feel that. I love that. Man, it's crazy. I'm learning. I'm learning so much. Shout out to the viewers and everything. I'm learning all this with y'all too. Being had these conversations in advance. I'm learning this with y'all.
I
You know,
gotta.
this is incredible. And then further down the timeline, you're working with um what would you call them? These sports teams, professional.
Professional sport teams,
Yeah.
you know.
How does that come about? Who are you able to name drop?
Yeah,
You can name
I
drop,
got my Infinity Stones. I'm slowly collecting of
bruh.
all these teams. So I'm like,
Go on,
I
snap that
mean,
finger.
okay, we've done collaborations with the Small Business Network, with the NWSL, that's the
Mm,
Washington Spirit. That was in collaboration with the Premier League. That was Chelsea
mm,
FC, and Arsenal. That was mostly put together by a lot of the other local vendors, but shout out to Maya.
mm.
She's an amazing individual. She put that together, and Magic Johnson was there.
Man,
We've worked with minor league baseball, with the Chesapeake Bay Sox,
man.
through their community day with uh, Howard Community College. We're currently working with the NBA, with the
Mm.
Wizards for
With the Wizards.
for their
The
community
Wizards.
run club.
It's
I
crazy.
haven't gotten to NFL yet, but that be cool.
It
But
sounds
like,
like that's on the way.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to work my way to see what they want to do, and usually it's always like, honestly, I be going running downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and I bump into somebody that like works at the Wizards, but
Yeah.
they have their own things that they're trying to do, and we come in to try to be that connector,
Mm.
or on the product side or the event side, like how we're able to kind of play that role for them. So like for the Wizards, obviously they want to sell tickets, and we're like, okay, we can put together a wellness event where we can bring out all the run clubs in DC, meet them, at a location. Shout out to Grounded, it's a plant and wellness cafe
Mm.
down in Southeast, and let's all get together. Let's just have a good time, meet each other, get some movement.
I'm familiar. My that is so crazy because we're looking at trying to do an event there.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Wow.
Shout out Daniela and Mignon. They were really receptive to having us come, and we're gonna have people down there. We just did well, I guess I can say it. We just found a new partner with the Black Girls Walking Club.
Mm.
They're gonna lead the walking portion. I'm gonna lead the 2 mile, and then one of my other colleagues, he's gonna lead the 3 mile. So
Okay.
I really didn't want it to be all about me.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be about everybody. Like, hey, that's the difference with my club, is that we can navigate in different areas. It's not just, oh, this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is, I'm like this is for everybody.
Mm.
I want y'all all to come see. You can get a shirt or whatever, but I want to be able to kind of build that camaraderie between us, because this is our area. You know what
Right.
I mean? So when we go run LA Marathon or Miami Half or Boston or New York, I'm representing the DMV. I'm not just representing my club.
Right.
So that's what I try to tailor it to. And, we're going to keep shopping that concept. Now that I got the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to shop that concept all this year. And I need to get my last NFL Infinity Stone.
Hey man.
So,
If
so
there's anything that I can do to help that happen, I'm going to. I'm gonna. I got some folks who work with the NFL, and they maybe I'm gonna run by them and see if there's any contacts or something I could do, because
that'd be
I want you to
awesome.
get that Infinity Stone. I feel
Yeah,
like that'll be.
little something like, M&T, I don't know, marathon and training
Yeah.
event or something, help people. We'll tie that with the NFL, maybe some financial literacy, maybe get
Oh,
some people on,
that's my bag right there.
you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to tie into it's not just about just this part. We
Right.
might get some kids on the bikes, let them ride around. I know a
Yeah.
couple organizations that work with the kids and the bikes on like STEM and everything,
Mm.
like science, technology, get them out, tie it all together and really make it something for the city and wherever we're in. And like I said, it's just a letter and a number,
Yep.
and it's been helping me create those connections and just inspire those. My competition, I tell myself, is a sixth grader in his journal, drawing in his notebook.
Oh yeah.
That's the kid I got to worry about, because he's looking at me and everybody else, and he's got some, or she, they got
Hmm.
some heat coming.
Yeah.
You know what
Coming
I'm
down the
saying?
pipeline.
That's what I tell people all the time. It's a kid that's watching.
Mm.
They're learning. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. He's taking screenshots. She's taking screenshots. They're pulling their homies. Oh, he like is a kid. I'll keep it quick. It's some kids called like the MD Food Boys or something. It's like four kids,
Okay.
and they do a podcast talking about food reviews. And
Oh.
they're like, so what's your favorite pizza, man? It's like, oh, I like this, and I'm just like, they're making it happen with their buddies, and
Right.
it's the great time.
It's those. Those are the ones.
Yeah.
And they're on the way.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if we can lift them up.
That's all I can do. Like I said, I gotta age gracefully off at some point. I let
Right.
y'all got it. Just don't forget about me.
That
Y'all.
retirement got to be smooth.
Yeah, just don't forget about me on y'all seating lists. Just send me 1, 2 pairs. That's all I need.
Looking back, if you were one of those kids, if you were one of those sixth graders, looking back, what is one thing that you wish you knew before starting?
I would definitely say just be a little bit more confident.
Mm,
Don't let the teacher tell you that you want to put outlines on your drawings and stuff.
it's a big
I don't
key.
want I don't want don't get mad because everybody's watching Ed, and Eddie, and I want to go watch Rurouni Kenshin or Yu Yu Hakusho at
Right.
night.
Classics.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be nervous in what you liked, because it's people also that liked it as well.
Mm,
And you're able to build your foundation around it. Like,
mm-hmm.
like I said, playing sports, like they laughed at me when I was playing golf in high
Mm-hmm.
school. Now everybody want to go hang and play golf now. So
Right.
I'm like, being able to kind of have that confidence.
Yeah.
If I could tell like sixth grade me that, I think he would have did some damage. But
Mm,
I think I was a little bit too reserved at the time. Like, I don't want nobody to know I can really draw a Gohan real
right.
nice in my notebook. But it was always that one kid. He said, "Look what I drew."
Right.
It ain't the best, but everybody knows. Oh, that's CJ. He be drawing all the
Right.
time, and like I'm just over here like perfecting my shading and cross hatching.
Right.
So like, that's definitely something that I would do. So
That's incredible. Yeah. I feel like adult me needed to hear that so that I can tell young me that still exists inside of me that too.
yeah,
That's important. There's so many parallels here. There's so many parallels here. I'm getting ready to dock this boat, y'all. So I think today's episode was incredible. I'm so grateful that you came by. I learned not just things about you, but I feel like I learned things that I need to take home with me. Um, I got a couple of basic questions, some almost like housekeeping stuff. So what do you have coming up next? Like actually the next thing so that people can catch on to it
yeah.
and grow it with you like wildfire. Where can people find you as well? Those two things.
Yeah, so the next thing is the Wizards Community Run Club. That's March 29th, 9:45 in the morning in Grounded down in DC. We're going to be putting out our next lifestyle running collection probably mid-spring. Any of that can all be found on my IG at D17Terrance. Or if you want to go with the clothes, D17 Clothing. That's all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, website, and all. So
I feel it.
I'll be posting the process. I'll be trying to bring people in. If you want to come product test some stuff, if you want to make a design or whatever,
Mm,
that's where to find it.
my man. All right, we getting ready to dock this boat. I feel like this was very successful. You don't owe me anything. Great. And yeah, I'm gonna keep on rocking with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to whatever you have next, and I look
Thank you,
forward to maybe potentially collaborating on something. I'm a big collaborator myself. Um, Leon, you got anything?
Nah, not at the moment. Right now, my motto: building and growing.
Building and growing. That
Oh,
community
yeah.
matters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we docking this boat, y'all. We out of here. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Tried and true. That's it.